YouTube, welcome back to UniXTCG, and today we are finally getting back into the BSS side of content creation. Again, I had to settle in with this new job and moving and stuff like that. Still setting some stuff up, but we are here. It's a little late, but we're going to talk about the Magic cards released in set 2. I just wanted to have my quick overview and talk about how I feel they're going to impact the current meta landscape. I just want to let you guys know that if you are feeding for the Battle Spirits content, we are going to be going off within the next week. We've got in this particular place over here set up, we got a couple cases coming in, so of course we're going to have some box opening videos. We're going to have shorts with showcasing the Gundam rares as well as the alt arts and whatnot, and you can bet your butt that we're going to have plenty of gameplay. We've got the new setup over here, and so yeah, we're going to have a lot of Battle Spirits gameplay. So just be ready. Content is a coming. Past that, I want to let you guys know that if you haven't ordered your boxes and or cases quite yet, because we are seeing those ratios come out, and we are knowing that it's either like one Gundam rare per box, or sometimes it's one X rare, one alt art. Sometimes you can get both. There's a weird kind of ratio to it, so this might be a sealed product type just release. And if that's the case, you guys can go to Mystic CCG using the link in the description and use my code to get a discount off. We're actually cooking up a bigger discount code, so just keep your eyes out for that. But yeah, you got the stuff coming out in a week. It can be shipped out very soon, and so if you want to buy your boxes or cases at a discounted price, make sure you go to the best sponsor that I have ever had the pleasure of working with. That being said, if you like the video, make sure you like the video, comment, let me know your thoughts on these Magic cards, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already joined the UniX fam, and check the links in the description via Linktree. So with that being said, let's hop into the Magic. Alright, so we have got an astounding 21 cards to go through, so we're going to actually start going through these pretty fast, but of course enough information to get a general look into what these cards do. And first off, we're going to start with the much talked about Nexus Hazard. This is a red card. You see that whopping 8 cost, that 6 reduction, bringing it down to a 2 cost when you have the correct things on board. And then you got that first ability for it. When you use this magic card from your hand, you may count each symbol on your Pterosaur spirits as 2 symbols when calculating cost reduction, meaning that this card only needs 3 Pterosaurs on board to be a 2 cost, and its ability, main or flash. Select one of your opponent's spirits with 3k or fewer BP and one of your opponent's nexuses and destroy them. If used in your main step, draw a card. This card is probably one of the most talked about ones coming out of these things. It's actually just really nasty. Pterosaur just did not necessarily need a card like this. However, with cards like, I don't know, Netherworld Depths kind of breaking backs and changing the whole sway of the game, this is going to be a major contender. Also, in the Pterosaur vs. Pterosaur mirror, you know how strong Scorched Battlefield is, Volcanic Canyon, all these things that allow you to cycle and continue having a constant stream of body threats. Nexus Hazard is going to play a little bit with. The fact that you can use it on the fly, but you can also use it in the main as well for an extra draw is crazy, because there are going to be some times where you have a Starblast draw set to farm things like purple or maybe even green, and then you draw into this card and they swing on you, and then you're like, okay, well, pre-block Nexus Hazard, smoke that Nexus. Okay, now after that I'm going to block, and now you don't give them a draw from their Netherworld Depths. There's a lot of good ways you can play this card, and I'm very interested to see how this changes up the Pterosaur, because it's a very mid-range kind of feel. I mean, not mid-range fields, but it's a lot of utility for a deck that was considered very just aggressive, straightforward. So now we have Trident Flare, 6 cost, 3 reduction, main / flash. Select 3 of your opponent's spirits with 2k or fewer BP and destroy them. This card is kind of weird. I can easily see this be a side card for green, because if I'm not mistaken, the green tokens do come out with 1k on them. So this card is going to be able to mass clear tokens, and that's actually pretty cool. But a lot of things start out naturally higher than 3k, or by the time you put the cores on the way you want to, more than 3k. So I do feel like this is one of those cards that just, I'm not going to say falls flat, but it doesn't necessarily strike me as a main board card. Could be wrong here. Next we got Lightning Aura, 3 cost, 2 reductions, so it's easy 1 cost. Main, select one of your spirits. It gains confront for this turn, and as a flash, you can select a spirit and it gains plus 2k BP for this turn. So easy 2k BP. The confront is pretty cool. Confront is an effect that can warp the board state. However, the more bodies your opponent has, the worse confront can kind of get. Just because, you know, you're not necessarily sniping. So if you're playing against a deck that has specific value targets, this may actually be something that's pretty cool. Like, it won't work against Axe Spider, but then again, what does? But like, there are going to be some decks that have more valuable threats. They don't go wide as much as they go tall, and or, you know, just value cards, and adding confront off the fly could be something good. Or you could, you know, hit make double confront with a confront creature or a confront spirit, and then actually use lightning aura on something else so that you have, you know, just double confront. This can really do wonders for red mid-range in terms of controlling the board state. And then the last one in red we have is Dragon Rush, 5 with 3 reduction. Magic, you know, main, during this turn, draw a card when one of your Dragonoid spirits destroys an opponent's spirit by comparing BP. And then flash, select a spirit, it gains plus 3k BP during this turn. This is one of those things where I'm not gonna front. If you've been playing it and testing and it works better for you, more power to you. However, I feel that I would have loved if Dragon Rush was a flash card. Like, I really wish you could swing and then your opponent could block and you could be like, okay, flash Dragon Rush, and then proceed to have your onslaught. Because using this in the main step really just gives your opponent the chance to decide how they want to have their turn, and it's going to be far too easy for your opponent to dodge this effect once it's already been played in the main step. I just think that window's a little too wide to make this really effective, so that's kind of that. Now, going over to the purple spells, we got Reanimate. This one's at 5 cost, 3 reduction, so 2 cost is not bad at all. Burst, when your opponent resolves a win summoned effect, discard the top 3 cards of your deck, return 1 purple spirit card from them to your hand. You may then pay the cost to activate this main effect. And the main effect is select a spirit in your trash that costs 5 or fewer, summon it without paying its cost. So this is the cool thing. You can see this card pretty much lets you know so much of the direction of purple in this set. Just off of Burst, when your opponent just plays a Cavalier, an Andromeda, just anything. Those are just things off the top of my head. Not a lot of people play Andromeda anymore. But the point is, you play a win summoned effect, and you get to mill the top 3 of your deck, hopefully filling your graveyard up with Reanimate targets, and then you get to take 1 purple spirit card to your hand. So if you happen to mill a target that you need to play or you'd rather keep, you get to snap that back, which is cool. And it has to be from them. That's the only thing. You can't just grab any purple spirit. That is the little stipulation you have. You have to look at those top 3 cards and return 1 purple spirit from them. But then you can bring something back, and that's just kind of the theme. This one isn't really that much to talk about because it really needs to be looked at as an archetype in general, but we'll get to that. Moving forward, we got Hanged Man, 4 cost, 3 reduction off what we like to see. Main / flash, select one of your opponent's spirits. If it attacks or blocks during this turn, remove 4 of its cores and then place them into your opponent's reserve. So this is pretty much marked for death, and I like and dislike this card. You have to play very specifically, and I feel like it's one of those things, like, it's like almost like deadly balance. Deadly balance is better when your opponent has only crucial cards on board, and the Hangman is very like that to me. Like, if your opponent has a full board, the Hangman is gonna suck. But if your opponent has 2, 3 spirits on board, 2 of them are vital to their game plan, and they can only block with 1, and you use the Hangman on that one when you swing pre-block, you have potential to force them to block, but then lose that card. So I think there's coolness in that sense. And that could also do a lot of work. If they only have 3 cores or 2 cores or 4 cores, and you have things like Purple Smoke Valley on board, you're gonna be getting that draw. So I think that we're looking at a card that could see play, but it's not overtly powerful because it kind of revolves on your opponent not having an ideal board, or you not having an unfavorable wide matchup. So kind of weird. And then we have next Assassinate. An Assassinate is a 5 cost with 3 reduction. Main, your opponent selects one of their exhausted spirits and destroys it. Flash, select a spirit, it gains plus 2k for the turn. Again, this is one of those where if your opponent goes super wide, this isn't good. Or you can always use it on the first swing. If you use it on the first swing, like they swing and you just activate Assassinate, you're always going to kill the thing that swung first unless it has armor purple. which is pretty cool. However, something that needs to be addressed is that with it can go down to a 2 cost, but with 3 reduction that needs to happen before getting onto a 2 cost, you're very likely going to not be able to use this in the first couple turns where your opponent's board is going to be the smallest. So by the time you can use this card, your opponent may have made a board that makes it kind of weird. And if they don't want to give you the opportunity, they just always swing with the expendable card. Like, this card ever became popular, your opponent just needs to lead with an expendable swing and then go with a priority swing so they can always kill that expendable target first. So yeah, once again, we're just looking at another card that that simply allows your opponent to have a little too much control over how effective it is. And then the last one that we have in purple, funny name, Crystal Crack. Crystal Crack, 3 with 1 reduction. Main, discard the top 2 cards of your deck, then draw a card. Flash, just a 2k boost. Now, this is just diving more into the Reanimator style. I think that's Aglavale getting destroyed. But yeah, this is just diving more into the Reanimator style. You're going to discard the top 2 cards of your deck, then you're going to draw a card. Beautiful, good stuff all around if you were trying to fill up your grave. But you guys should know how I feel about random mill. And in a deck like, in a game like this where Ice Shield, seeing all 4 Ice Shields can make or break a matchup, I don't like the idea of milling things when we have no way of getting Ice Shield back. That's just me. So now we're going to move over to the white spells, and the first one we got is Reboot Code. I love the I love the art for this, because even though these aren't Gundams, they look very much so like Gundams. But it's a 7 cost with 4 reduction, so it goes down to 3. That's fairly sustainable. But burst when your opponent destroys your spirit. All of your white spirits gain the following effect. When the spirit blocks, it gains plus 2k power for the battle. You may then pay this card's cost to activate the flash effect. And the flash is select up to 3 of your spirits and refresh them. During this turn, your spirits without when the spirit blocks effects cannot attack. So this is interesting. If you use it on your turn, you have a bunch of things to flash. Like, you can swing with everything, and then you can use Reboot Code and then, you know, reboot them, and they can now block. However, it says spirits without the when this spirit blocks effects cannot attack. So that does mean that certain things will be able to. Like, for instance, Fortress Dragon has when the spirit blocks, you can untap it. That's a once per turn effect. However, that means that that card would be able to swing again, which is pretty cool. However, the burst is also very, very cool, because your opponent, you know, smokes off the one thing on your board that they can, because, you know, lots of white cards have armor, you can give them armor, and then you get to burst this one off. I think this is niche, but once again, I think this could be a powerful side card. I think that red has so much volcanic break going on and stuff like that, that you could easily side this in when you want to bounce a game-winning push, and I like that a lot. That's just me personally. And the next card is Iceberg. And Iceberg is a 3 cost, 2 reduction. Main, select one of your spirits. It gains armor red, purple, green during this turn. And yeah, I don't know why it's worded like that, because it looks kind of redundant. But red stops a lot of removal, purple stops a lot of core removal, and green stops a lot of resting. Now, yellow and white are 2 pretty big holes to have, seeing as that things like things like Angelic Pressure, Drowsy Fumes, if they're still being played next set. Green being able to rest your things. I mean, also not having white on this list also kind of hurts, because Dream Bomb is one of the most popular forms of removal that this game currently has. So I'm a little weirded out on it. I'm a little weirded out, just a little weirded out. I'm not sure. I mean, obviously this screams sideboard. It's got a flash effect, select a spirit, it gains plus 2k BP this turn. Screams side deck. However, yeah, it's missing. Not having white is very, very weird. I guess it would be a little bit overpowered. You can't give something everything, but hey. Not too much to say about this one. Next, the last, I keep saying the last, and I'm always like one short. Infinity Shield, 4 cost, 2 reduction, love to see it, 2 cost. Just flash select one of your Machine Beast or Mecha Spirits. That spirit can block while exhausted during this turn. It is a just inherently just weaker suppression. However, you don't have to use your Soul Core. And technically, yeah, you don't have to use your Soul Core. It costs 1 less, and yeah. Does it cost 1 less? I'm sorry, man. I'm fried right now. Like just got off of work trying to do this. But Infinity Shield is narrower, but you don't have to use the Soul Core, and that's pretty neat. So now the thing that's kind of weird is you would never use this over suppression. However, if there was a deck or a matchup that was made or broken by suppression, you now have different copies of suppression at your disposal to now use. So hey, what it is. Next, we got Inescapable Avalanche, 4 cost, 2 reduction. Flash, return one of your opponent's attacking spirits to their hand. I really much so like this. Dream Bomb is such a good card, being able to be used on your turn and your opponent's turn, that once again, if you have a match that you need to see all 4 Dream Bombs in, you can now use Inescapable Avalanche and just wait for certain targets to swing, and then Inescapable Avalanche that to the hand while you can save the Dream Bombs for maybe cutting off a card during your turn. Like if they it kind of makes these weird points where, if, like I said, if you have a make or break matchup due to Dream Bomb, you now have the ability to be like, okay, I'll set Dream Bomb on my burst to get them the 2-for-1 for the Nexus and the bounce. But I'll also have Inescapable Avalanche, so you can't double up on me on these things that desperately need to get bounced. Or you swing with the Axe Spider and you got the Inescapable Avalanche, but I still have the Dream Bomb. I think that this is actually going to find its way into sideboards. I just have to see. But I really, really, really do like this card. The next one we got, moving on to yellow, is the 3 cards. 5 cost, 3 reduction. Burst, when your opponent resolves a win summon spirit effect. During this turn, all your spirits gain other land or spirit type. Then you can pay this card's cost to activate its main effect, which is main. If you have 3 more over or other land or spirits, all your opponent's nexuses lose their effects and cannot regain them during this turn. This is pretty cool. Using this during your opponent's turn can just cut off plenty of things. If your opponent loads up on a Scorched battlefield, and then you somehow are able to trigger this, but red doesn't really have that many come into play effects, but if you somehow manage to do that, you get to turn off things like that. However, the cool part is, if you are running a very much so rush deck and purple is being pushed in, then you can turn off their Netherworld Depths and then start swinging all under them. So I think this is actually a pretty cute card. I definitely like it. Next, we have got Somersault, 6 cost, 3 reduction. Main, your yellow spirits cannot be blocked by your opponent's level 2 spirits during this turn. And then Flash, select the spirit, it gains plus 2k. This is very much so combo play, and it sometimes can be situational. Like, there are a bunch of yellow cards that do force your opponent's hand on what level their stuff can be. But yeah, I don't really feel like this one's too solid. Again, I'm always ready to be proven wrong. I'm willing to be proven wrong. That's cool. But this one didn't really just pique my interest that much. And then the Magic Mirror one, 4 cost, 2 reduction. Flash, next time your opponent would select a spirit or a nexus while using a magic card during this turn, you select instead. So I think that's pretty cool. Now, there are a lot of effects that kind of do get around this. Like, if we want to go back to something like Hazard Nexus, select one of your opponent's spirits with 3k or fewer BP and one of your opponent's nexuses and destroy them. So because they automatically say your opponent's, you will have to choose one of your nexuses. So Magic Mirror isn't quite the card you think it is, because a lot of cards in Battle Spirits target your opponent's spirits, target your opponent's things. So that's kind of rough. Now, the Magic cards though, you do really have points where some of them, like the boosts, you can choose who these go to. But because it's in the Flash step, you do have to use it like, the first thing. You can't, there's no chain link in Battle Spirits. So you'd have to be like, okay, well, swing, post-flat, or pre-block step, Magic Mirror, now play out your turn. And that's a little bit too deep of a read, I feel like. There's a lot of times where I feel like you're just going to be spending 2 and just be sitting on it. But if it works, it works. Yeah. And the last one we have for Lightning Arrow, for yellow, is Lightning Arrow. And that one just straight up says, Flash, select one of your opponent's spirits. It cannot attack or block this turn. This is neat. It's going to cost 2 when it comes down. Certain decks will be able to make it even be played for 1 if you have things like, Pen 10 out. I think this is going to be pretty cool. I think this is going to be pretty cool. A little bit narrow if your opponent goes wide on the board, but if your opponent is just playing like value town, like if your opponent doesn't swing, there's not really much of a reason not to swing with something like Ganta Rex first. But if you just get into these positions, or you get into these points where certain things aren't swinging first, Lightning Arrow is a good card to be like, yeah, no, you can't do anything. Or even on the offense, it's good. Oh, you think you want to block with this? Yeah, do this. And the cool thing about Lightning Arrow is that you can hit things that normally don't have, like, that actually have, it's like, hold on, let me just look this up real quick. I think, so you can't use it on things like Axe Spider because armor yellow, but there are gonna be some cool things. Like if you think you're about to get suppression and it's not Axe Spider and they don't have armor yellow, you can literally just be like lightning arrow on that and they can't do anything. Or let them suppression, right? And then you could, in your flash step, lightning arrow the card as long as it doesn't have armor yellow, and then they suppression, it's exhausted, they can't block with it this turn. Beautiful. So I think that's actually really cool. I think lightning arrow can definitely get some work done. So now real quick, just to remind you guys of the sponsor and where you can get your Battle Spirit boxes for cheaper using my discount link and code, I'm gonna play the Mystic TCG advert, and then we're gonna hop over to green, and then we're gonna wrap up this video. So let's talk about Mystic TCG, your one-stop shop for all your TCG needs. On the site, you can buy or pre-order plenty of sealed product for plenty of games. Just make sure though, if you're pre-ordering, to give it 3 to 4 months in advance to start looking, because sometimes the product is indeed hot, supply and demand, you know? And then if you want to buy singles, go on tcgplayer.com. There's going to be a link in the description where you can buy for the best value. And if you want to sell cards or collections, you can message them on their Facebook site so you can get the best bang for your buck on any type of way you want to buy or sell cards. And then while you're at it, you can use the code UNIXTCG at checkout to get even more of a discount. So hey, what are you waiting for? Check out Mystic TCG today. All right, so we're back, and let's talk about the last ones, the new additions, the greens. So first we got the Ant Strike back. First, when your opponent destroys your spirit, it's a 4 cost with 3 reduction, so it's going to cost 1 once you have the reduction, and it's pretty easy to get reduction in green so far. First, when your opponent destroys your spirit, activate this card's main effect without paying its cost, which is amazing. Summon 2 of your Ant-Man tokens. Ant-Man tokens are just green token spirits, carapites, level 1s with BP 1000, and they also have one symbol for reduction. So this is going to be pretty cool. And this is where I was talking about that red card being able to clear tokens en masse, but this is pretty cool. Burst, just so you block with something and just make 2 more. And that's why it's called the Ant Strike back, because you can block with, like, you can literally block with a token or a spirit and then just play 2 more ants, and that's actually pretty neat. This is going to be something where your opponent will never know what you're doing, because you're probably going to be playing 4 of these if you're trying to make mad tokens, plus your ice shields. Your burst zone's always going to be set in a green deck, I think, and that's pretty neat. And the next one, you have Thorn Prison, which is going to be changed to the box topper beam rifle. But Thorn Prison, 4, 2 reduction, main/flash, your opponent selects 2 of their refreshed spirits, exhaust them. Again, your opponent gets to choose, and that sucks. But this is going to be something you constantly have to play around with green. If you have 2 things up and you are planning on them to block and you don't have suppression in hand, Thorn Prison is just going to destroy your setup for no reason. So be mindful. Next, you got Carry Core. Flash, place 1 core from the void onto each of your spirits with no effects listed. Yup, that's vanillas, that's tokens. This is actually insane, and it goes for 3. This is potentially some of the most savage ramp I have ever seen in my life. Like, it just actually makes no sense. So yeah, literally no cost. Place 1 core from the void to each of your spirits. This could potentially be some mad ramp, and it can go down to a cost of 3. You just have to have the board to set it up. So miniature or minuscule destruction may be a thing, and to be honest, we may see more. Because if green battles pterosaurs body to body, we may see more Dragonoid decks that have that destruction left and right to make sure that the tokens don't get out of hand. So don't count them out yet. We got to see how green interacts with the format. And then we have Stamina Recovery. Burst when your opponent resolves a Wind Summon effect, because they are not playing around with these Wind Summon effects this time around. Select 3 of your green spirits, place a core from the void onto each of them. You may then play this card's cost activated splash effect. Main/flash, select the spirit against plus 2000 BP during this turn. This is insane. You can have this set as a burst. Your opponent plays a Wind Summon and you just go up 3 cores if you have the board. That's just, that is, if you don't like this card, I don't know what to tell you. This card is insane. This is nutty. And then last but not least, we have Insectora. Select a spirit. It's a 4 cost, it has 3 reductions. Select a spirit during this turn. It gains 1k BP for each Carapite or Insectoid you control. And yeah, I guess that's pretty cool. You can force through some stuff, but this is kind of lackluster compared to the one we just went over. Like, like legitimately stamina recovery and carry core are just hilarious forms of ramp. So I want to know in the comments what you guys think about these magic cards. Like I said, I know the video was late, but I had to move. There was a lot of stuff going on, and I am excited to play set 2. I'm very excited. We got so many events coming up in the last quarter of the year. We've got more cards coming up. Soon set 3 will be on pre-order for Mystic TCG, so hop in there and see what you like. And yeah, like I said, just make sure you check out the links down below so you can get your boxes at a discounted price. And I will see you guys in the next video. Whether that be One Piece, Dragon Ball, or Battle Spirits, just do me a favor, and even if it's not the game you play, maybe stop by the video and just like it. Maybe let it run in silence in the background, just so it keeps trending, and eventually we're gonna keep growing and growing and growing. So thank you guys for your patronage, and I will see you the next time you decide to join Universe X. Later.